My fiancé said at her bachelorette party, "One last night of freedom before I settle for boring." Her friend posted it on Instagram. I saw it, canceled the wedding venue, and returned the ring. She woke up to 200 confused guests and no ceremony. I'm 34 and typing this from what should have been my wedding day. Instead, I'm at home in sweatpants, while 200 people showed up to a canceled ceremony this afternoon. Been with Amanda for 4 years, engaged for 8 months. Wedding was supposed to be today, Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. We'd been planning this for months with our wedding coordinator. Total cost was going to be about $35 grand, which pretty much wiped out my savings, but Amanda wanted the dream wedding. Everything fell apart last Monday because of an Instagram video. Wednesday was Amanda's bachelorette party. I had my bachelor party the same night across town. Standard setup, her friends took her to some upscale lounge downtown while my buddies and I hit a sports bar. Nothing crazy on either end, just normal pre-wedding celebrations. Thursday morning, Amanda seemed normal. Maybe a little hungover, but that was expected. She was running around doing last-minute wedding prep, picking up her dress from final alterations, confirming details with vendors. I was handling my own checklist, picking up my tux, making sure everything was ready. Monday morning, exactly 1 week before the wedding, I was scrolling Instagram when I saw that Amanda's friend Jessica had posted a video to her main feed with highlights from the bachelorette party. The video was a compilation of clips from Wednesday night. Music pumping, drinks flowing, all the girls dancing and having a good time. Normal stuff, but one clip made my blood run cold. Amanda was at the bar talking to some guy I didn't recognize. The audio was clear enough to hear her voice over the background music. One last night of freedom before I settle for boring. Got to make it count. Then she leaned in and kissed the guy. Not a quick peck, but a real kiss. I watched that 10-second clip about 50 times, trying to make sure I was seeing and hearing it right. My fiancé, exactly 1 week before our wedding, was kissing some random guy at a bar while talking about settling for boring. Boring, apparently, being me. I screen recorded the video and called Amanda immediately. Went straight to voicemail. Tried 3 more times over the next hour. Same result. Then I started making the hardest phone calls of my life. First call was to our wedding coordinator, Lisa. Explained there was a serious personal situation and I needed to explore cancellation options. With 7 days' notice, you'll be responsible for about 80% of all vendor costs since most final payments are due this week. The venue alone will be about $20,000. I told her I understood and asked her to start the cancellation process. We'd been paying vendors throughout the planning process, so most of the money was already spent anyway. Second call was to my travel agent to cancel the honeymoon. 7-day cancellation on the resort package meant losing about 90% of the cost, roughly $6 grand. Third call was to my bank to stop payment on the final vendor checks that were scheduled to go out Tuesday. By Monday evening, I'd worked with Lisa to cancel every vendor. Total cost of calling off the wedding was about 28 grand in vendor payments and cancellation fees. I kept the wedding insurance, which covered about 4 grand for change of heart cancellations, so I was out 24 grand total. Expensive lesson, but cheaper than a divorce. Amanda finally called me back Monday night around 8 p.m. "Hey babe, sorry I missed your calls. Been running around all day getting everything ready for Saturday. You excited?" "Actually, no, I'm not excited. We need to talk." "Can it wait? I'm exhausted and still have a million things to do this week." "Amanda, I saw Jessica's Instagram video from your bachelorette party." Silence. Long silence. "What video?" "The compilation video she posted today. The one where you're kissing some guy at the bar while talking about settling for boring before your last night of freedom." More silence. "Then that's not what it looked like." "I have it recorded, Amanda. I can see and hear exactly what happened. I was drunk. It didn't mean anything. It was just a stupid comment. A stupid comment about settling for me, your fiancé, the guy you're supposed to marry Saturday. I didn't mean it like that." "How did you mean it, Amanda? Explain to me how calling your future husband boring and kissing another man has some innocent explanation." She started crying then. Said she was scared about getting married, that she'd made a mistake, that the kiss meant nothing, and she'd been drinking too much. We can work through this. Cold feet are normal. Let's just focus on the wedding Saturday and deal with this after. That's when I told her there wasn't going to be a wedding Saturday. What do you mean? I mean, I canceled everything. Venue, caterer, flowers, DJ, photographer, all of it. Lisa helped me contact all the vendors today. You can't be serious. Dead serious. I'm not marrying someone who thinks they're settling for me. You're overreacting. It was one stupid comment when I was drunk. It wasn't just a comment, Amanda. You kissed another guy at your bachelorette party while talking about how boring your fiancé is. She started panicking then, asking if I'd lost my mind, how we were supposed to tell 200 people. What about all the money spent? What about her dress? You should have thought about that before you decided to test drive other options a week before our wedding. I wasn't testing anything. It was a mistake. The mistake would be me marrying you Saturday. That's not happening. I hung up. She called back immediately, but I didn't answer. Tuesday morning, I went to the jewelry store where I'd bought the engagement ring. Since it was a standard setting with a certified diamond, they agreed to buy it back for 65% of what I'd paid. Got back about $5,000 of the original $8,000. The wedding bands were custom engraved, so those were a total loss. But at least I recovered something. Tuesday afternoon, I started dealing with the guest notification nightmare. Amanda and I had 200 people invited between both our families and friends. I sent emails and made calls to my side explaining the situation. Asked my immediate family to help contact extended relatives. Amanda was supposed to handle her side, but she was having a breakdown and couldn't function. Her mother ended up calling most of their guests Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday morning, I got a call from the venue manager. Apparently, some out-of-town guests had already arrived and were asking about rehearsal dinner details. We've been getting calls all morning. People are confused about the cancellation. Some drove here from other states. I felt terrible about the guest situation, but there was nothing I could do. Amanda's choices had created this mess, not mine. Wednesday afternoon, Amanda showed up at my apartment. She'd been crying, looked like she hadn't slept since Monday. Had her sister with her for moral support. Please don't do this. I made a terrible mistake, but we can fix it. I love you. You love the idea of being married, Amanda. You don't love me. If you did, you wouldn't have called me boring. I didn't mean boring in a bad way. There's a good way to call your fiancé boring while kissing other men. Her sister tried to mediate, said Amanda was genuinely sorry and had learned her lesson, asked me to consider postponing instead of canceling completely. There's nothing to postpone. Amanda made it clear how she feels about me. I'm boring. She was settling. She needed one last night of freedom before committing to someone she doesn't actually want. Thursday and Friday were spent dealing with practical details. Amanda and I had been living together in my apartment for 2 years. She moved back to her parents' house Thursday night. We had to divide belongings, cancel shared utilities, separate our finances. Amanda was on my car insurance and phone plan. Had to remove her from everything. The wedding gifts that had already arrived got returned to stores or mailed back to guests with apology notes. Friday evening, I got a call from Jessica, who'd posted the original video. I'm so sorry. I didn't think about you seeing that clip when I posted it. I was just sharing highlights from the night. Don't apologize, Jessica. You did me a favor. Better to know now than after the wedding. Amanda's devastated. She knows she messed up. She's devastated because she got caught, not because she did it. She really does love you. The kiss was just a stupid drunk mistake. Jessica, would you marry someone who called you boring and kissed other people at their bachelorette party? Long pause. Probably not. Then you understand why I can't either. Saturday morning, today, my phone started ringing early. Guests who hadn't gotten the cancellation message were showing up to the venue and finding it locked with a cancellation notice posted. The venue manager had to deal with confused guests all afternoon. Some people had driven from other states, booked hotel rooms, taken time off work. I felt terrible about the inconvenience, but Amanda's actions had made this inevitable. Amanda's been calling and texting all day begging me to reconsider, saying she'll do anything to fix this, that losing me isn't worth whatever stupid decision she made Wednesday night. But the damage is done. She showed me exactly what she thinks of me when she thought I wouldn't find out. I was boring. She was settling. She needed freedom from me. Now she has all the freedom she wanted. Update 1, 1 week later. 1 week since the wedding that didn't happen, and the aftermath has been exactly as messy as expected. Amanda's "one last night of freedom" comment has become legendary among our friends and family. The guest situation was worse than I anticipated. About 40 people had traveled from out of state and didn't get cancellation notices in time. They showed up to a locked venue Saturday afternoon and had to be informed by venue staff that the wedding was canceled. Several guests were angry about their travel expenses and lost time. A few family members called me demanding explanations. I sent the same response to everyone: wedding canceled due to Amanda's infidelity at her bachelorette party. The video evidence is clear. Amanda's mother was handling most of the fallout on their side, but she called me Saturday night in tears. Do you know how embarrassing this was? Amanda's grandmother drove 6 hours to be here. Her college friends flew in from California. I'm sorry about the inconvenience, but Amanda could have considered those consequences before she decided to explore her options. She made one mistake when she was drunk. She made dozens of conscious decisions that night. Every word of that conversation was a choice. Sunday, the story spread through our social circle via social media and text messages. Jessica's video had been saved and shared by multiple people before she took it down. Friends were divided. Some thought I'd overreacted to a drunk mistake. Others agreed that the "settling for boring" comment was unforgivable. My family was completely supportive. My mother said she'd always thought Amanda seemed like she felt too good for me. My dad said any woman who called her fiancé boring while kissing other men wasn't marriage material. Amanda's family was split. Her parents wanted us to work things out. Her siblings thought she'd brought everything on herself. Monday, I had to deal with the financial aftermath. My wedding insurance covered about $4,000 under their change of heart provision, but I was still out $24,000 total. The shared apartment lease was in both our names with 6 months remaining. Amanda agreed to let me keep the apartment and take over her portion of the rent rather than break the lease early. We had a joint savings account for the wedding that still had about $3,000 in it. Split that evenly since we'd both contributed. Tuesday, Amanda tried reaching me through mutual friends. Had her best friend call asking if we could meet to talk things through. There's nothing to talk through. Amanda made her feelings clear Wednesday night. She was drunk and scared about getting married. She knows she messed up. She was honest when she was drunk. That's the problem. Don't you think 4 years together deserves a second chance? Don't you think 4 years together deserved better than being called boring while she kissed other guys? Wednesday, Amanda showed up at the apartment. I almost didn't let her in, but decided to hear what she had to say. I know what I said was horrible. I know the kiss was wrong. I was drunk and scared and stupid. But I love you and I want to marry you. You want to marry me because your backup plan didn't work out, Amanda. If that guy from the bar had been interested, would you even be here? That's not fair. Neither is calling your fiancé boring while kissing strangers. She tried explaining that she'd been feeling overwhelmed about marriage and had made comments she didn't mean. Said the kiss was just alcohol and nerves, not a reflection of her feelings about me. Even if I believed that, you still called me boring to a stranger. That came from somewhere real. I think you're dependable and loving and everything I want in a husband, but also boring and someone you're settling for. She couldn't argue with that because it was recorded with clear audio. Thursday, I heard through friends that Amanda was telling people I'd ruined her life over one drunk comment. She was positioning herself as the victim of an unforgiving ex-fiancé. But too many people had seen or heard about the video. Hard to claim victim status when you're on record calling your fiancé boring while kissing other men. Friday, Amanda's sister called with yet another attempt at reconciliation. Amanda's been in therapy since Monday. She's working on understanding why she sabotaged your relationship. I don't need her to understand why. I need her to live with the consequences. The therapist thinks you could benefit from couples counseling to work through this. There's no couple to counsel. Amanda ended that when she decided I was boring and worth settling for. The sister tried several other approaches, but none changed the fundamental issue. Amanda had shown me exactly what she thought of me when she didn't know I was listening. Update 2. 3 weeks later. 3 weeks since the canceled wedding, and Amanda's attempts to rehabilitate her image aren't succeeding. The settling for boring video has become a cautionary tale in our social circle. Amanda spent the first 2 weeks trying to convince people that the video was taken out of context or that I'd overreacted to harmless drunk talk. But too many people had seen the actual footage. She tried claiming the kiss was barely a peck and meaningless. But Jessica and others who were there confirmed it was a real kiss with obvious intention behind it. Amanda's narrative shifted to positioning me as unforgiving and unable to handle normal pre-wedding jitters. She started telling people that canceling everything was an extreme overreaction to a minor incident. The problem was that most people didn't consider calling your fiancé boring while kissing other men a minor incident. Several mutual friends told me Amanda had asked them to stay neutral and maintain friendships with both of us. Most said they'd try, but privately admitted they thought her behavior was indefensible. 2 weeks ago, Amanda tried a new approach through her mother. Called saying Amanda was so depressed she'd taken time off work and was barely functioning. She's learned her lesson. She knows she almost lost the best thing in her life. She did lose it. That was her choice. Don't you care that she's suffering? I care that she showed me her true feelings before I married her. Better she suffers now than both of us suffer through a divorce later. She made one mistake when she was drunk. She made dozens of choices that night. The conversation, the kiss, calling me boring to strangers. All choices. Last week I heard Amanda was seeing a therapist and telling people that losing me had made her realize how much she actually loved me. But love isn't the issue. Amanda probably does love me in whatever limited way she's capable of. The issue is respect. You don't call someone boring and kiss other people if you respect them. This week Amanda texted me directly for the first time since the wedding week. I know you probably hate me, but I need you to know that I've realized what I lost. You weren't boring, you were stable and dependable and everything I actually needed. I was scared and stupid, and I ruined the best relationship I ever had. I didn't respond immediately. Took time to think about whether anything she could say would change my mind. My response was simple. I don't hate you, Amanda. But I also don't trust you. You showed me what you really think of me when you thought I wouldn't find out. That can't be unseen or unheard. She replied, asking if there was anything she could do to rebuild trust. I told her there wasn't. Trust isn't something you rebuild after deliberately breaking it. It's something you either have or you don't. We don't have it anymore. But I love you. You love the security I provided. You don't love me enough to respect me. She stopped texting after that. Yesterday I ran into Jessica at a grocery store. She apologized again for posting the video that ended my relationship. Don't apologize. You saved me from marrying someone who doesn't respect me. Do you ever regret calling off the wedding? Every day. I regret that I wasted 4 years with someone who thought she was settling for me. Jessica mentioned that Amanda had asked her to delete the original video. Jessica refused, saying it wasn't her responsibility to help Amanda rewrite history. She made her choices. The consequences belong to her. Final update, 2 months later. 2 months since the wedding that didn't happen, and this story has reached its natural conclusion. Amanda's one last night of freedom became permanent freedom for both of us. Amanda's attempts to win me back continued for about 6 weeks before she finally accepted that I was serious about ending things. Her depression was apparently real, and she spent over a month in therapy dealing with the consequences of her choices. Her social rehabilitation never fully succeeded. While some friends eventually forgave her, others maintained that calling your fiancé boring while kissing other men was relationship poison. The video continued surfacing occasionally when people discussed wedding disasters or relationship red flags. Amanda's family eventually stopped contacting me about reconciliation. Her mother sent one final text saying she hoped I'd find happiness and was sorry things had ended so badly. 3 weeks ago, I heard through mutual friends that Amanda had started dating someone new. Apparently, she'd met him through a dating app, and they seemed to be moving quickly. Good for her. Everyone deserves to find someone they don't consider boring. Last week, I started dating someone new myself. She's heard the whole story about Amanda and the Bachelorette party video. Her response was that anyone who would call their fiancé boring while kissing other people clearly didn't appreciate what they had. The difference in how she talks about me versus how Amanda did is striking. This woman actually seems excited to be with me, not resigned to settling for me. 2 weeks ago, Amanda texted me one final time, said she'd heard I was dating someone new and wanted to wish me happiness. Also said she'd learned from losing me and would never take another relationship for granted. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Yesterday would have been our 2-month wedding anniversary if the wedding had happened. Instead, I spent it having dinner with someone who thinks I'm interesting rather than boring. Amanda learned that actions have consequences, and that testing other options at your bachelorette party comes with serious risks. That calling your fiancé boring can become a self-fulfilling prophecy when they find out about it. The guy at the bar learned that kissing engaged women at bachelorette parties can have far-reaching consequences. His kiss contributed to ending a 4-year relationship and cost me $24,000 in wedding expenses. I learned to trust my instincts when something feels wrong and to value myself enough to walk away from people who don't respect me. I also learned that sometimes social media saves you from making terrible life decisions. The Instagram video wasn't revenge or punishment. It was just information. Information that showed me exactly what Amanda thought of me when she didn't know I was watching. Amanda wanted one last night of freedom before settling for boring. She got exactly what she asked for: complete freedom from boring, dependable me. I wanted a wife who was excited to marry me, not someone who considered it settling. I got exactly what I needed when I walked away from someone who called me boring while kissing other men. Everyone got what their choices earned them. Amanda chose to call me boring and kiss other men a week before our wedding. She got to experience life without the boring, dependable stability I provided. I chose to believe her when she showed me who she really was. I got to avoid marrying someone who didn't respect me enough to stay faithful during her own bachelorette party. The canceled wedding cost me $24,000, but marrying someone who thought she was settling for me would have cost me much more in the long run. Sometimes people tell you exactly what they think of you when they don't know you're listening. Amanda told that stranger at the bar exactly what she thought of me. I'm grateful I found out before signing a marriage certificate. The best investment I ever made was spending 1 week canceling a wedding to someone who didn't deserve me.